Okay, I'm up to round 3 on the frame. I haven't shown you all of sort of the beginning part because we've done this quite extensively in a previous video, and I'll put a link to that one. It's Merton Abbey. I'll put a link to it in the notes below the video to show you, you know, some hints about not twisting the chain and getting the size right and all that kind of stuff. So it's a standard process through all of these motifs. So if you want a bit more information about that, if this is the first time you're making a frame, perhaps go and have a look at that particular video. So we're ready now to join our flowers into, or our flower into the frame. And what we're going to do is all of your leaves should have markers in. I haven't put them in all of mine just because they sort of clonk on the desk and make a bit of a racket when I'm trying to video. But we're going to go around now. This is the final round of the frame. We're going to go around and join all the various bits and bobs, the leaves, the buds to it, and it will be complete. Okay, I've positioned the flower on top of the frame with the top to the point where I'm at the end of each round. All right, and you can see that the first leaf that we're going to get to when we start working is this one, which is leaf number 4. So let's get going. So I'm going to make a chain. I'm going to just show you kind of the elements here. I will show you how to join a leaf and how to join the buds, and then by this point you're probably kind of quite proficient in it. So I will just do a little bit and help you on your way, and then you can fly all by yourself. I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. So one chain I've made doesn't count as a stitch. Double crochet into next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and this is kind of just what I want to show you really. We're going to skip 5 stitches on the leaf, so that means I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and I am going to make I'm going to join my leaf to the top of the frame through the next 3 stitches. Those 3 stitches are the stitches at the top of this leaf, and you'll see the centre one is the marked one. Okay, so hopefully once you've skipped those stitches, the 3 will be the 3 that go around the top of the leaf. Now, the only thing that's sort of noteworthy really is that we're only working through back loops on the leaf and all of the stitch on the frame. So I'm just going to start with this stitch, which is the one before the marked stitch, go into the back loop only, and again this is not new, we've done this before, and into the next stitch on the frame. Just be careful that you're working the correct stitch on the frame, you're not double working the stitch or skipping a stitch. It can be a little bit tricky to see. So the second of the 3 stitches that we're joining will be that centre marked stitch. Again, back loop only through that marked stitch and into the next stitch on the frame. Again, just being careful that it is the next stitch and not one that I've worked already or skipped. And the last of the 3, back loop only and next stitch on the frame. That's how you're going to join your leaves. It's not too tricky, is it? So as long as you are careful with your stitch count and careful to follow your pattern, you're going to be absolutely fine. So the only okay, so working through back loops only like that and into the chain like that, that's how all of the leaves are going to work. So that's the one element sorted. The only other one that you're going to, you know, that we perhaps could have a look at together is how to join those leaf buds. We've got 2 of these leaf buds to join. So if I show you that as well, you should be set up for this particular round. So we're going to work 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and if I just line up my work, you'll see we kind of have hit that first bud, that treble 3 together. We're going to completely ignore that. We're doing nothing with that at all. And how we're actually going to join these flower buds is through the chain spaces that we've made. So I'm just going to put my hook through that chain space, and that's going to trap the chain in there. Okay, and I'm going to make another 4 double crochet, 1, and again going into the same chain space but moving along on the frame. All right, so it's 1 double crochet into each next 4 stitches on the frame, 2, but still going into the same chain space on the bud. 3 and 4. And if we look at that, once we've done those 4, we will see that it is really effectively hidden that chain that we've made, and it starts to look, you know, it separates out those buds really pretty, in a really pretty way. So you'll see now that we're on the marked corner stitch at the frame, and we're at the double treble 3 together part of the bud. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go straight through the top of the double treble 3 together and into that frame, into that marked stitch on the frame. And we're going to do that twice, so 2 into the same stitches. So 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Just make sure I've not skipped along there. Okay, and that becomes our corner. That second stitch that we've made becomes our corner stitch for when we're joining. So we will pop a little stitch marker back in there. All right, so turning around, we've just got that last little part of the bud to do, and it's the same again. We're just going to go through that chain space and work 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. Being careful not to skip or not to double work stitches. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, and again, that little chain is now very well hidden. We've got a very pretty corner, and our buds now look separate, don't they, which is really brilliant. So there are 2 extra elements apart from the leaves and the little buds that you are going to need on this. One is a picot, which comes right at the end, and the other is the stem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work around to the stem to show you how to join the stem, and then I'll work around to the picot and show you how to do that. Okay, I am ready to join the stem now to the frame, and we join this in the same way. If you've made sunflower, it's the same way. If you haven't, don't worry, I'm going to tell you how to do it. We're going to join in 3 places on this stem over 3 stitches on the frame. All right, so I'm going to the very first place we're going to join is the last stitch on the stem, and it is the underside of the stitch. It's the one where we've worked back into the chain. You'll have made leaves. You've made enough leaves to know what I'm talking about here. It's just that single strand that you're working through. So the hook goes through there and into the next stitch on the frame. That's number 1. So number 2 is going to be that turning chain at the top, the skipped chain at the top. And again, on your when you've worked leaves, that's where you've put the 3 double crochet to turn. It's that top stitch or top unworked chain that goes in there. And the third is the actual first real stitch, if you like, or the stitch coming up this side of the stem. So you're going under the V in the normal way there. That is the third place to join your stem. And that's gone over 3 stitches on the frame. And if you look, it is nice and neat and joined nice and securely. So that is one other part that's just a little bit different from joining leaves or flower buds. And we've got one more to do, so I'm going to work all the way around because it's a picot. Okay, I'm on the very last part now, and the very last part to join is the central picot at the top of the block. And just as a reminder, all I'm going to do is put my hook all the way through that picot and into the next stitch. Then I have one more double crochet to make. I need to just make sure I'm going into the right place. There we go. And slip stitch to join into the top of the first double crochet, and I have completed the block. Okay, there we go. There is our completed Bedford Park daisy. Everything is joined. Once you have blocked your motif, I just want to show you the difference. These are made in the same way, and you can see all of the sort of the curves and the curls. Everything is flat and perfect and beautiful. So do pay attention to when you're it's suggested that you do block your pieces, because the difference is so noticeable, and it just really completes the project. But having said all that, we're now at the end of Bedford Park Daisy. I hope you found the videos useful. I hope you enjoyed making it. and we'd love to see them in other colourways.